Hey everybody, I'm super pleased for this new episode to welcome a very special guest in my heart and music heart and opinion as a musician and guitar star, Alex Skolnick from Testament, but as also from Alex Skolnick Trio, because I just fucking love the trio, you know. So
Oui.
welcome, Alex. Thank
Bonsoir,
you for being part of the Matt's VideoCast. And we were talking off camera. I haven't seen you since Hellfest in 2019, so it's been a long time now. We didn't see each other, so I'm glad to welcome you on the guitar show today. And I see many guitars behind you, so that I can't be happier.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Ça va très bien.
And how do you?
I'm good.
Can you choose between all the guitars behind you? Because I mean, that's a tough choice. I see so many.
Yeah, I try to play a different one every day.
Okay.
Or every 2 days.
And yeah, just favorite?
I have a few favorites. You know, one of my favorites, you don't see it up there, but it's right here.
Woo!
And this is one of my vintage ones. I don't have a lot of vintage guitars, but this one is a vintage. It's a 1976 L5.
Wow.
Owned, it was from, I got this in California. Before I moved to New York, and it was owned by a well-known jazz guitarist there named Calvin Keys.
Oh, okay, great! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So is that the one? Is that the one we can see him playing all along?
That's I think so. It reminds me of Wes Montgomery was earlier, but it reminds me of the one Wes Montgomery plays.
Because yeah, that's something
live at the Subo.
Don't expect from you, but you know, a lot of people are like, oh, he's playing in Testament, but when they see the Alex Skolnick Trio, and I saw recently on YouTube a show you guys did at the Iridium, I think it was last year or this year, I can't remember exactly the date, but it was such an amazing show, and you play so much differently than the playing in Testament. But do you think you can sometimes now, as a growing musician, as we say, and getting much more experience, do you mix that influences that you have between jazz, metal? I heard you in several interviews having like of course, Eddie Van Halen had a big impact on your playing in the 80s.
Major impact, yeah.
Do you sometimes mix those, like you have so much influences to compose in the trio or in Testament?
The sound is very different, and the equipment is very different. So like this guitar, when I first got this, I decided that was when I got serious about jazz playing. And I told myself, I really need to be able to play jazz professionally. Otherwise I'll send the guitar back, which I didn't want to do. So it was, as we say, incentive to keep the guitar. So, when I do play jazz, I mean, it's with very different musicians and different guitars, different amplifier. It's like a different world. It's a different atmosphere. But I find some things in common.
Yeah.
So like I might take a lick in jazz, say that's an example. I might throw that in when I'm playing metal.
Okay. Yeah.
Or there's certain sounds that with jazz you play them very clean. But when I'm playing heavy metal, sometimes that'll come out.
Okay.
But usually when I play jazz, the touch is much lighter, and I don't have that much metal influence that comes out when I'm playing jazz. But occasionally I'll do a thing that maybe sounds like a metal riff, but with a much cleaner sound.
Yeah, and I saw you even playing super differently with even some acoustics technique, like the virtuosos. We can hear like Tommy. I just felt some like a bit of Tommy Emmanuel when you're playing with the trio. It's such like when you're just pinching or slapping the harmonics on the fretboard, and it sounded like such an amazing thing. So don't ever sell the L5, because I think
no.
you did such.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I see some Eddie Van Halen inspired like guitar behind you as well. That's
well, this one. So this is custom made. A friend of mine, he's he builds them as a hobby. Hasn't done it. He's never sold them before, but he does it really, really well.
Wow, yeah.
And he's starting to sell. His name's Frankie Felita, and he's gonna make more. But I've played some of the replicas, and I even played his. I even played the one that Eddie used to own.
Yeah,
that's in Long Island.
Yeah,
on New York.
Yeah.
And those are great. But I honestly, this one plays great. It's my favorite one. And we're talking about keeping busy during the shutdown. I started a podcast.
Okay, right.
So it's called Moods and Modes, and it just got picked up by the network Osiris, same network that has Oteil Burbridge and Eric Krasnow. So that's exciting. And I just did an Eddie Van Halen tribute episode.
Okay, gotcha.
So I use that and sort of dissected a lot of my favorite Van Halen parts and licks. I have a bunch of the one up there.
The SG,
that's a 1968 SG.
That's the Angus Young thing right there.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a little different than his, but it's a beauty.
Yeah, it reminds me, the one he was playing back then in the Highway to Hell era when he started to play SGs around, and that's it reminds me. I think his was a 71 back then, when he changed. I think now he's playing like a 67 or something. But
yes, yeah,
that's a beautiful one. Yeah, and
and that one I acquired because it was destroyed. Really, it was unplayable. Yeah. So it's what we call a fixer-upper.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right? Usually when people say that, they're talking about a house. It's like a house that is beat up. You need to paint it, do construct. That's how that guitar was. It was
like we call it, in the stores, we call that like player grade, like when pretty much nothing is original, but it sounds great because you still have that vintage vibe in them, and sometimes pickup makers are quite amazing, and you can find some tone from them even when they're beat up. It's very interesting to have them back, actually.
This one, it needed frets.
Yeah.
It needed pickups.
Okay.
And I have a friend in the music product world that had a pair of Tony Iommi signature pickups.
Okay.
That he got from Tony Iommi.
Wow.
So I put them in that guitar.
So you're saying that in that guitar we can see Tony Iommi pickups.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it has Tony Iommi's pickups.
Wow.
And the frets were just terrible. So they had new frets. It needed a lot of work. I brought it to Matt Umanov, who is a well-known guitar repair person, had a store for many years in New York. I actually did a podcast episode about it.
Wow, that's super nice. Having Tommy Iommi's pickups and in an SG, that's an amazing tribute for having it back to life, actually.
Yes. And there's a whole other story behind the guitar.
Okay.
Too. People they can listen on my podcast, the very first episode.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I talk about it.
We'll check it out. You know, I will put the link, you know, on the YouTube description of the video. And, you know, that reminds me, because the first time we met was when our friends, Billy Gibbons and Matt Sorum, were playing at the Iridium, actually. And
yes.
I saw you, like, I think I was eating, like, which is amazing at the Iridium and not possible in France. We were eating and having a beer, and I saw you, and it was such a great show, and they played amazing. And
an amazing show.
Was played. We were super lucky to be, you know, to be at that show. That was very special indeed. And Billy was playing, I think, in Black SG, you know, custom made for him that night. So that reminds me the thing. And you know, when you're touring, because Testament is quite an extent. Even with Testament or your trio, you're always doing something. So
and it's funny because you know, with Testament, I don't play any of these guitars.
Yeah, of course. I think
I have an ESP,
signature, right?
Yeah, I have an ESP signature guitar, which is well, let's see, I have. It's in the case because it's been taken around. But I have one right here.
So are you playing like the regular runs one, or are they custom made for you with some specs, or are there the prototypes you're playing on tour, on stage and studio?
Well, there's a couple versions of it. So this is the LTD version of it.
Okay, perfect.
And you can buy this in the store, and it plays great. It's got a lot of weight.
Okay.
And it's got great tone. But the more high-end version of it says ESP on the headstock.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it weighs a little more, and it's really more like based on a burst guitar.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Gibson. So that's the ESP one.
And I think there's a couple. I think the one I was seeing you playing at Hellfest Black with, like, I don't remember if it had a flame top or not, but it was like a silver burst thing. Or
yeah, that one is called. There's a couple of them. There's a black and silver one.
Okay.
Silver burst, and there's also another one called Aqua Burst.
Okay.
And that one has a floating bridge.
Wow. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So when I play with Testament, it's those guitars. They do the job perfectly.
And when you're playing with, you know, we always see on tour, but what does the Alex Skolnick we are admiring on stage doing when he's not on tour? Are you always writing songs? Are you always in the studio, or are you just enjoying the half touring by just doing hobbies and stuff and just?
No, I'm always very busy with music. Now, okay. Testament is like the most visible thing I do.
Of course, yeah.
But it's only one. When you look at all the music I do, it's really one small part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I always see you somewhere, like doing clinics, doing with the trio, Testament, and the Testament is for the festival.
I work with other instrumentalists. So I was saying before, I've done some live stream shows since the shutdown, and with very different artists. One was the most recent one I did was with a saxophonist, Ofer Asaf, and a bassist, Lincoln Goins, who plays with Mike Stern, Robbie Amin. Before that, I did one with Percy Jones from Brand X, and some other musicians. I just did a recording with Stu Ham. We were at Sweetwater in Indiana. So, yeah, and I did a performance with my trio, and I was just with Taylor Guitars, just sent me to a store to play a bunch of their acoustics.
Okay, right.
Doing solo pieces. So yeah, it's a wide variety of stuff. Wow. So even though Testament's the big one and the thing I've been involved with the longest, but
it's like you have so many branches of what you're doing, and wow. And do you have like some plans going on one of those branches? Do you have some plans, like what's after the pandemic, of course, because it's such a weird time now, but do you have some plans, like are you going to tour you know, in the US? Most likely it would be in the US, maybe, if you guys are going back touring, but do you have maybe plans to come back in Europe at some point?
We hope so.
We miss you guys.
Yeah. Well, luckily we got to do a full tour of Europe earlier this year.
Yeah.
With Testament.
Yeah, I remember that. Was that in March or something?
That was in March. Yeah, February and March.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then my trio toured Europe last year.
Okay. Wow.
And we finished up at the Larvik Guitar Festival in Norway, which was really great. We played one night. Actually, it was the same night as Terje Riptol, the great Norwegian guitarist that records for ECM Records. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll be able to. I'll be able to come back with both projects. And
yeah, because I was checking, and Testament is like, because you joined Testament super early, you know.
Yeah, I was 16 when I joined the band,
and
I was out of the band for a while. I moved to New York, and for a while I only did instrumental music and got a music degree and sort of restarted, and then rejoined Testament. Yeah. And ever since then, I've sort of had these different sides.
And because Testament, I saw recently that the band is going to turn, I think, 40 years old in like 1 or 2 or 3 years, I think, something.
Oh my God, that's crazy! Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the band when it began, but yeah, it would be, I guess, in 2023 it'll be. That's incredible.
I mean,
wow.
It's not so many bands who can still be like playing on main stages in festival and being sold out, having sold out shows. And especially we saw like a Surrender, and it's you know, having you guys are playing bigger shows, and in festivals you're playing later and later, at least in France. I remember I was talking with the organization guys at the Hellfest, and they said that, oh yeah, those guys have to play later next time they come back, you know. So
yeah.
that was, you know, it's 40 years old for a band. It's, you know, it's crazy. That's do you guys have still, you know, do you have like a method to compose music? Do you have like always like a plan that maybe you guys are starting with riffs, or that may be such a vocal thing in the beginning? What's your writing process with
you know, it's different for every album, and I think it's much different now than it used to be, you know, because now everybody lives in different places. You know, the band is from California, and they're still there, except the drummer is now Gene Hoglan, great drummer who lives in Southern California. And the rest of the band lives in different parts of Northern California. I live in New York.
Okay.
So really, when it looks like when it's time to start working on a record, we write riffs on our own and send them to each other.
Okay.
And I've gotten pretty good at making demos with, you know, I have a recording system. And in fact, over the summer, I've gotten much better.
Yeah, and I saw that recently. I saw an interview. I don't know when was that, but I've seen, because you guys are playing such in high tempo stuff, you know, generally. And I saw that you were tending sometimes to offer to the band's catalog some middle tempo songs. Is that something that you're going to do again, you know, in the next songs we are going to hear from the band?
Yeah, well,
to be like quieter, if I can say.
Well, because what I did, I wrote a song, and it ended up on the record. It didn't have a title when I wrote it, but it ended up being a song called Symptoms. And it's really a mid-tempo song.
Yeah.
And it's unusual for the band. I just thought, you know what? We have so many songs.
Yeah, of course.
Where it's either this really fast thrash metal beat or a really fast kind of up-tempo, like Judas Priest, but faster. And I know Eric is, you know, going to write a lot. He founded the band, and I know he's going to write a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just said, you know, here's one idea. It doesn't have to be a slow song. It's not a power ballad.
Okay.
And they liked it, and the fans seemed to really like it. So, yeah, I would be surprised if we end up doing more like that at some point.
Yeah, because I mean, I was checking it. On I think we can hear it on YouTube, and it's such surprising songs for Testament, And did you yourself tried what we call the holy grail of guitar, like by playing like a 59 or 58 or 60 original like burst Les Paul standard?
I have not. I would love to, and I've gotten more interested in it.
Okay.
Lately, so I have a gold top reissue.
Okay.
A 1960 reissue I got at a great store in upstate New York called House of Guitars.
Yeah.
You probably know it. Yeah.
I think in Tulsa, right?
It's in Rochester. Yeah.
Yeah, Rochester. Yeah.
I've had that guitar a long time. And I've used it for everything. I mean, it's on some of my trio albums. It's on some Testament albums. But that guitar, I mean, that's a really great guitar, and they made it really well. Somehow 59s, like only in recent years, I've sort of discovered all the history behind 59s, and the famous 59 that Peter Green had, that Kirk Hammett now has.
Yeah.
I'm interested in them. Not all of us can just buy one of those. It's like it costs basically what a home costs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So if I have to choose between my home and a guitar,
well, you can't sleep in a guitar, so let's choose.
Right, exactly. It's not that practical. But I'm interested if there is a version of it that's a remake. I have this 1960 I have is really good. And I also have a great relic Telecaster.
Okay.
That I got at Gruen Guitars in Nashville. And I was playing these guitars that were like $15,000, $20,000. And they had one, it said 2,500 on it.
Okay.
And I thought they left 0 off.
Okay.
But it played, to me, it was the best playing guitar, but it turned out to be a perfect relic.
Like a custom shop thing, yeah.
Yeah, custom shop one, a no-caster.
Wow, okay.
Based on the early no-caster, but butterscotch, from built in 2009.
Okay.
And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and those guitars are already 11, 15, 20 years old now. They get...
That's true, and then they age, exactly. So my 60 reissue Les Paul, it's from the 90s. That's already 30 years old. So
yeah, of course.
So now it's got some age, and it's really nice. But I haven't seen a reissue 59 yet.
Okay.
That really feels like a 59. You probably
I brought something
know about them
today. That's so that's the one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I think that I will I'm be happy to lend you this when you guys will play in Paris, on stage for like the show of few songs. But that's a real 59, and
wow.
And that came from our buddy Joe Bonamassa. That for like, I think Joe owned that for like 7-8 years, something like that. And which is funny about this one. So, which is funny that you can see like a darker spot on the bottom of the top, and that's because of the sun lighting, and that particular spot didn't fade, and that's what we call, because in collectible guitar world, we nickname the 59 Les Paul. So this one, Joe called it Spot.
spot.
And you know, we used to play in the shop, you know, real 59s, 58, 60, and in our opinion, you know, that guitar is really special, and it's, to me, that's the best, one of the top 3 59s I ever played in the,
Wow.
and we played like maybe 200 of them. And
Wow.
you know, I'd be happy to show it to you, because that pickup, if
Yeah.
you're talking about the bridge pickup, is close to, you know, 10 kilo ohm, which is like a DiMarzio, almost like a DiMarzio super distortion thing. So you tend to even get the Ace-free thing in that bridge pickup.
Oh,
So,
nice.
I'd be glad to show that to you, you know, when you guys will
I'd love to play it.
in
Yeah.
Paris, you know. And the thing is that, you know, the store, we lend guitar on stage because we really think they should not be behind the glass.
That's great. Yeah, they should be played. Yeah.
Of course. So that one, since we have it, we bought it in 2017, and since we have it from Joe, it played in venue in Paris of 100 people, to you know, back to arenas with like, I don't know, so many guys played that guitar since we have it. So I will be glad to.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
You know?
That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
And discovering, you will not discover maybe a reissue, but you will discover a real one before discovering a reissue.
Yeah, well, it would be good, you know, before I search for a reissue, to play one, to play the real one, and just know what to look for.
Yeah, and you know, Gibson, we were in Nashville like a couple of years ago, and that's when I picked it. And I think it was January 2018, and Gibson scanned it. So I don't know if one day they're going to do something about it, like a replica, but they completely scanned it. And we scanned the pickups at some point with, by the way, Billy Gibbons is you know, pickup maker, and we sold them like you know, like crazy in the shop. But I will be glad to, you know, I just wanted to show you this one, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
It was like something that was played over the years, and
yes,
we just love it, having it back on stage, because in our opinion, that's where it belongs.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted. I was just having a conversation with Peter at Retrofret.
Yeah.
About these guitars, and we were saying, you know, yeah, more owners should do that. They should loan them out.
Like you know, we see, I think, you know, like we see with Stradivarius violin and all.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something normal, because I think those guitars get older and older, and you know, they deserve so much to be played by talented musicians on stage, whatever the size of the stage, but on stage at least, because we really think in the shop's mentality that, you know, it's wood, it's natural thing, and if you don't play them, they tend to be dead, you know, over the time. So and that's why I'm, you know, personally, I'm happy that Kirk Hammett is owning Peter Green's guitar.
Yeah, me too.
So many people are saying like, oh yeah, but it's Kirk Hammett, he's a like piece of shit, he doesn't play like Peter Green. But who cares? He's bringing it back on stage.
He's bringing it out there. Yeah, a lot of people are hearing it and appreciating it.
Yeah. You know, and it's such a thing, because I always say you are never the owner of your guitar, finally.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what? When you can just pass away or just sell it, but it's always, there is always someone else who is going to carry the torch after you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're helping it on its journey. Basically.
Exactly. So and you know, I just see an example with your SG, for example, or your L5. You know, you are owning some of Tony Iommi's pickups, and you know, the L5, as we know, played in so many stages and so many recordings. So it's just that
also the story behind the guitar, I should just tell you. So I got it from somebody who used to work for the management company that represented Soundgarden.
Okay.
In the 90s, Susan Silver, and they represented Alice in Chains and a bunch of the Seattle. So the story I was told, and it's very believable because this person worked for the management, and he said, they had a bunch of guitars in their office, and at one time Chris Cornell had this guitar.
Wow.
And it wasn't played on stage; it was beat up. But he was able to write on. He used it to write some parts. So he had it for a brief period, and so between him and the pickups from Iommi, and
such a nice story,
and the fact that it's 68, and that's when I was born. That was I actually had it for a number of years before deciding to just make the investment and get it fixed up. But I'm so glad but I agree what you're saying. Yeah, it's like you're part of the journey of the guitar. You never really own it, even if you buy it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, personally, we don't, I think we love to play guitar, but we are not, of course, as much talented as you guys are, playing on stage and stuff. So that's, those guitar has to bring joy again and, rings on bigger stages. So,
and you have Jeff Buckley's guitar too, right?
Yeah, but we sold it to Matt Bellamy from Muse earlier.
Oh, wow. Because that's a good owner.
Yeah, we met Matt. I think Matt is a friend of the store since like few years, since I think 2016 or 17. And I brought him. Muse was doing like a big media thing for their upcoming album in Paris, and I brought him with a French journalist, the guitar, and we surprised him with it. And initially he thought it was a replica of Jeff Buckley's guitar. And because you're not expecting that during a press day. You're like doing interview. You're not expecting Jeff Buckley's guitar is showing up. And he understood that was the real one, and he cut the press day for like 15 minutes, showing the guitar around to the other band members. And that day he said, Matt, if you're thinking ever to sell this guitar, I'm going to use it in the studio and write songs, because basically it was the 90s. Jeff Buckley was really special because, it was like, as you did better than me, but it was like strong voices with Eddie Vedder, Axl Rose and, Kurt Cobain and stuff like that. So Jeff Buckley was really an exception in that musical period. And Matt Bellamy was not really accepting his voice and the way he was singing. And he went to see Jeff Buckley at the Reading Festival, I think in 95 or 96, when Buckley was touring for Grace. And he heard
great album. Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Of the best album
one of the best albums, like hands down. Yeah.
And it's like you're listening it, and every time you're listening it, you're like, wow, that's even better, better and better.
Yeah,
and,
so incredible.
So Matt accepted finally his voice that day, and he said, I want to be a musician and I want to sing like Jeff Buckley is singing. And
wow.
Then I emailed him and I said, we think about selling it, and he bought it, and I'm glad he already used it in the studio. It's going to be in the upcoming Muse album, and so that's also the role we want to carry. It's like this guitar, if one day we sell it, we really want it to be that it belongs to like a musician, or at least maybe it's going back on stage or whatever, So
somebody that's gonna put it to use.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's awesome.
That's but next, soon with I guess Testament, because I'm not sure it would fit the Alex Skolnick trio, but I think you
actually would. We have a couple songs that I switched to electric, and I do actually we do a version of Lazy by Deep Purple.
Wow.
Where I switched to electric and full on distortion and kind of.
Well, I look forward to it, because that guitar it needs to come back on stage, and we all miss guys, it
would be perfect for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Testament, you wouldn't hear it that well because it's this wall of sound.
Yeah.
But when I play with the trio, you would hear it. It's just really, you'd hear the tone, and it would be great.
You know, I wanted to ask you another thing, because you're always discovering musicians with you know, so much influences. Do you have that in metal or jazz, or you know, every kind of music? Do you have some musicians or bands that you're discovering or discovered recently, and you were like, wow, those guys are the real deal, or he's the real deal, or she's the real deal? Did you have like very good surprises or discoveries recently?
Oh gosh, you know, it's funny because I don't listen to that much music because I'm always creating music.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
often when I listen, I like music to sort of turn off my brain. That's not going to make me want to like transcribe licks or jam or write riffs. So
yeah, sure.
so I know I have. I just it's hard to think of anybody off the top of my head.
Of course, yeah. But it's sometimes you're just. Do you think there is, because we see you guys turning as a band, we see you guys turning 40 years old. We all know that AC/DC and they're back, and we are so glad they're back. You know, but
I haven't listened to the record yet. I'm waiting for the right moment, and I just want to concentrate.
It's amazing. You'll see.
I heard it's amazing. Yeah.
You know, when Phil Rudd and Cliff Williams are together, for me, the real AC/DC is back. You know, but
yes,
the thing is we all see you guys. You know. And amazing bands like you did from 83 to today. You know, we see you guys, you know, turning 40, 50, 55. The Rolling Stones are even, you know, turning 60 years old, I think, in 2 years. And
that's incredible.
So that's amazing. But what do you think about? I have a feeling that there is also a new generation of players coming, you know, and ready to carry the torch. I think more than ever since like maybe the past 20 years. But I will send you some. If you went for the right moment, I will send you some guys. There is a guy called Marcus King. He's amazing, and
oh yeah, he's terrific. I know. I'm very familiar with him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's you know, for me he's the top of the top of the new blues rock generation of guitar player. You know, and he played that. We lent him a couple of times in Paris. But
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, some guys are coming also to carry the torch, and it's going to be such a great period of time to see you guys, like as we can say, the legends, and the young guys, like sharing festivals and stuff. That's going to be great. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Have you heard? There's a really young guy here in New York, Brandon Niederauer. He goes by Taz.
Okay. Oh yeah, Taz. Yeah, met him at Guitar Center once. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think he's playing on Don Jellicoe's, and he used to play like few years back. He used to play at you know, the musical show in Broadway. What's the name of it?
School of Rock.
Yeah, School of Rock. Yeah. He's great. He's great, and now he's playing super differently than the way he did, you know, when he was playing in the show. So
yeah, he's developing a lot.
But
and there's some, just some players doing some really interesting things. I don't know if you heard of Yvette Young.
Yeah, of course, it's insane. Yeah,
so nice and just really different. It's so different than what I do.
Yeah,
but it's nice to listen to because it's very very refreshing.
And in the past releases that came out recently, even if you don't listen music that much, to stay creative, if I can say, not being influenced by what you're listening to, did you have like a record that came up recently that you really appreciated, or and then when I say recently, it's like the past maybe 2-3 years? Did you have like a record that you said like, well, that record is great, and it's going to stay in my mind for the next years, or I'm going to listen to it?
Oh gosh, I would have to like look through my iTunes, because I guess because I listen to so much. Like I don't listen to a lot of records, but I do. I have a big music collection, and when I hear something, yeah, I'll grab it. On iTunes. Sometimes I'll get the record, but I'll have to get back to you with it. I know that's like what a politician would say.
No, but I will put it when when you will come back to me. I will put it in the description or stuff. But you, and so the plans are for you, like you're always busy, of course. But what's the next step? Are you going to be back on tour with your trio first, or is it going to be much more like the Testament thing, or even such a different thing maybe? But what's the next step if you have one?
Yeah, we don't know yet. You know, it's mostly there's a lot of recording. I've done a bunch of guest appearances, which are fun, and I know there's talk about. I know there's a festival that Testament is booked on. In October next year.
Wow. Okay.
It's like a year away. Wow. And a lot of bands are on. A lot of well-known groups are on this. Like Rob Zombie is on this. Mastodon. I think Metallica is headlining.
And is that in
the Aftershock Festival? But that's not. It's not for another year. And then who knows? Yeah, between now and then, anything could happen. But a show like that, they have to book far in advance.
Yeah, of course.
And then there's been some offers for my trio. We come to Europe every year.
Okay.
But things are uncertain in Europe. We haven't been to Latin America, so there's talk of us going to Latin America. We just started to get it to talk about it before everything shut down.
Okay.
So hopefully that will happen.
So maybe it would be even a challenge to tour in South America with a trio then, because I can figure that they're crazy about metal music and stuff like that. So I think with Testament it must be even crazy to see the crowd there, because they're really
the crowds are incredible there.
Yeah. They're
they're just incredible. They're not reserved at all.
Yeah, I've seen
they like to sing. They sing loudly. It's like a sports event.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have
like football?
Do you have, by all the touring you had all those years, do you have like one or two funny anecdotes that you will always remember as a touring musicians? Because we always see you like big bands, like going on stage. You guys have a guitar tech. You never have like. We never see really stages problem. You have a spare guitar next to you. Do you have that something maybe even in the early days that you will always remember by laughing about it?
Oh, there's many.
Okay, yeah. So
too many stories. Like I'll just tell one from not that long ago.
Okay.
We were on tour with Slayer and Megadeth.
Okay.
This is a very heavy tour.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right.
Big
it's called the American Carnage.
Wow.
What's that?
Big tours then. Big venues.
Yes. Yeah, and it was the funniest thing. And we were I got done with our set backstage, and I saw somebody walking around. He looked just like Kenny G.
Okay.
The saxophone player. I was saying, that is so funny. That guy looks exactly like. And then I heard rumors. Did you hear Kenny G is here? Kenny, and then there's a knock on the dressing room door.
Okay.
After we change it, and it's Kenny G.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's there. He introduces himself. He's with his teenage son.
Okay.
Max. who plays guitar.
Okay.
And just wants to meet. He wanted to meet me. He's a fan.
Wow.
And I have photos from it, and it's just the funniest thing. So Kenny G's son plays guitar and likes, heavy metal shred guitar. That's what he likes. And his dad is really cool. Like, actually takes him to concerts, and he was actually being a really good dad. Like, saying, I can't open doors for you, but I will take you to concerts. And so at the time, he had the same management as Megadeth. That was another part of the story. But it was just totally surreal.
Yeah. You don't understand him.
Yeah, he's also like one of the nicest people I've met in music.
Wow. Okay.
And there's just so many jokes about Kenny G, and he knows all the jokes. He's very funny. He knows all the Kenny G jokes, and it's just so interesting. So, and I've met tons of artists whose music I like better, but that maybe weren't as nice to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And here's somebody and especially in my jazz circles, there's probably like no musician hated more than this person.
Yeah, I bet.
But he was totally nice, and it was really cool of him to bring his kid around to meet all the guitar players on this tour.
It's such like the opposite galaxy of what he's playing.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's just not for me. I mean, we kept in touch. I did see him when he played in New York, and I think like he does what he does well.
Yeah.
It's just not for me though. It's really like, it's a different type. It's a different type of thing. I'm not gonna criticize it, but it's really like for easy listening.
Wow. So that's a good one. And did you have, like you said, you met so many like artists and legends, and do you have like one or two that you were like between excited, honored, even shocked to meet, that you still remember today, if you had to pick some of them?
Yeah, well, the night we met, at Billy Gibbons, that's one of my favorites. Just one of my favorite artists of all time, and just
that was the night you met Billy.
Yeah, I had never met him before.
Oh, really? Because it was such a good, like all the VIPs of New York. I had a feeling all the VIPs of New York were at that show. There was a friend of mine called Jared, and he was playing back then with SNL, and he was there, and he met Billy.
Oh yeah, I know who he is. I don't know him personally, but yeah.
Yeah, and he was there too, and he was freaking out by meeting Billy after the show. But it was such a nice evening to see Billy and Matt, and hosting to.
I was there I had seen Brad Talinsky,
yeah,
who was a longtime editor of Guitar World.
Yeah, I remember.
Author of all these books. Yeah, so we had seen each other on the way in, so we ended up hanging at the bar. Yeah, it ended up being, and I did see a couple other New York folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met David Wild, who's a journalist from Rolling Stone, and
it's funny that Billy is always having, for each of us, it's like you're having a special moment with him, and it's always that I don't know how the meeting went with him, and you're going to tell
awesome.
But really he always have like some anecdote, like I got to tell you this, and it was back then, and he's always giving us the best of him every time he's meeting, and especially a musician or a guitar freak. So how did it go with him? Because it was such a nice night.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, he knows Brad really well.
Yeah.
And actually, at that time, I had just taped a show with Sam Dunn, who's a filmmaker in Toronto, who was at the time working on the ZZ Top documentary that came out. So they know each other well. So, you know, I mentioned him and my other friend, Chris Kelly, who's a longtime artist rep for different companies, who's from Texas, and those guys go way back. So we know some of the same people, and it was really, really nice. And I've also got to know Al Di Meola a bit.
Yeah,
which still knocks me out because, you know, he just major influence, even more so on acoustic guitar.
Yeah, one of the best players of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, one of the best. Last time I saw him was also at the Iridium.
Okay.
Although, I mean, I've seen him a few times. I actually ended up at his house once. I've got a friend who has become close friends with him.
Oh, okay, nice.
So yeah, anytime that he's playing, you know, we say hi, and you know, he totally knows me at this point, and yeah, it's like, yeah, we're on a first name basis. But I was just such a fan from way back. I still get excited because
did you have the opportunity to you know, because Van Halen has such an impact on you? Did you have the opportunity to meet Eddie back then when he was still with us, or is that something?
Only once, and it was very brief, and it was at a period where he wasn't doing so well. It was this year, 1991.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I've read about that year. I mean, apparently, like lots of
I've seen video of that year. Yeah.
Yeah, so I met him, but I don't feel like it almost doesn't feel like I met him. I feel like I've gotten to know him better from like the Wolfgang Van Halen video that he just put out with all those wonderful home movies.
And great song to me. I discovered Wolfgang.
Great song, yeah,
amazing. And he just put out two songs, you know. And I didn't know Wolfgang was such a singer. And I didn't know he was such a writer as well. And the clip is
he's really got it.
And I'm so glad we got, you know, from my generation, I'm so glad we got a Van Halen too. You know?
Yeah.
So I want to see him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then somebody else I know who knows him or who knew him had some footage that nobody's seen that I saw that I feel like, okay, I feel like I met him, you know, or I feel like I got to see who he really was away from the crowds and everything.
And in your really opinion, we know that you really admire Eddie's playing, because I always say that two guys really marked in the guitar, you know, rock and roll history. Two guys really put some big marks, like before and after. And to me, it's like Hendrix who did it first. And when Eddie, you know, came out in 76, 77.
Yeah. And well, 78 was the first record.
Yeah. And I was hearing Gene Simmons talking about, you know, he produced apparently the first demo in 76 or 77, whatever. And those guys are the two guys that changed the game and really. Eddie's. I think. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, no, Eddie, you're right. Exactly. Eddie's the only one I think that's in that category.
Yeah.
With Jimi Hendrix, where it's just so different and so far beyond whatever else was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been great players since then, but nobody like that.
Changed that kind of impact. Totally. And what did you feel when you first heard the maybe the EVH1 or 2, or I don't know, the first album of them you bought, but some people are telling me that they were even wondering how what Eddie was doing, you know, to sound like that with the guitar.
Yeah, I just loved the sound.
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe it. I always liked guitar, and by that time I was playing guitar, but I never noticed the tone of a guitar like that before. You know what I mean? There were plenty of good guitar parts.
Yeah.
That I thought, oh yeah, I like this part. But that was the first time where the sound, like even just the sound alone was so incredible. Like that was enough.
Yeah.
But on top of that sound, you had all these incredible musical ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And so many guitar tracks on songs sometimes, you know, we don't even imagine the work in the studio he was doing as well. So yeah, that was someone super, you know, that when he left us, a part of the guitar world left with them.
Seriously, yeah, that hurt. That was devastating.
You know, that's such a bad year because we were talking, you know, on Instagram together a few months ago, and it was already tragic when Peter Green left us. So
yes.
Two major acts of guitar playing, unfortunately, left us. But Eddie was, I think, every 80s player, you know, we're going to play differently if he didn't exist, in my opinion. So
completely, yeah. Or, you know, some of us might not play at all, or wouldn't play guitar like that. Like when I heard him, I knew I wanted to be a soloist. I was never interested in being a soloist before I heard him.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. You know, I thought, okay, you know, I could play a few solos here and there. But then when I heard him, I just decided, wow, okay, I want to put all my energy into being the best soloist I could be. Yeah, it was totally because of him.
Yeah, I you know, I got you totally on this. You know, it's you know, we are going to miss him every day for sure. You know.
Yes.
But Alex, I can't thank you more to have been my guest today. It has been like a real pleasure, and I'm glad that we talked, not in real, but almost, you know. Yeah. But
yeah, I know. I'm glad we could finally do it.
Yeah, so, and you know, we might be in touch soon because I'm developing a new show in Paris as well to give people live music, which is called the Mads Guitar Sessions, and it's a full acoustic show. You just bring no gear, you just pick you know, a guitar. Your bass player can pick, you know, a bass that we have, and the show is based on you guys would play with our stock, and so you don't have anything to carry. And so
that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
That's what I just did at Retrofret.
Yeah, exactly. So, and
Tone Sweet, they have a series, Tone Sweet Tone.
Yeah.
And they had me come down and just play stock.
Exactly. So you didn't have to carry anything.
Didn't have to carry anything. Yeah.
So that's the goal of the sessions. And then, you know, we have like 15 fans that would love to see you, that we select randomly on the social media. So, and it's full acoustic and slightly electric. So I'm just dreaming that we do something together like that.
Cool. You know, I have one more guitar here that I got in Paris.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you real quick. Yeah, this is it's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, is that a Selmer?
But made by Pierre Fontaine.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you know
very famous here. Wow.
Yeah, it was so funny because I was looking for one, and they're not that easy to find.
No, especially in the US.
Yeah, and even in Paris, they told me, you know, we want to play electric guitar now. You know, it's not people. They're not. You have to go to the classical section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I started on. Is it Rue de Massy?
Yeah, of course.
All the stores.
And you went Rue de Rome.
Yes, yeah. So I had to go to where all the pianos and cellos,
violins and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. But I found this, and yeah.
Is that vintage or is that just a new one?
It's a new one. I got it in 2017.
Okay, great. That's the
jump. Yeah, it plays just terrific.
Okay, well, so it's a nice photo.
Yeah.
But you know, on the French music you're playing and the jazz, you know, inspiring, inspired French you're playing, I just want to say thank you for, you know, being my guest today. It's just a real pleasure. I'm sure we're going to make plans, you know, in the future when you guys are going.
Yes, once we can be in the same room, it'll
Exactly.
be amazing.
That's going to be terrific. Thank you very much, Alex. It was such a good guitar
Matt.
with you, and
that was fun.
See you soon. See you.
Good
and
time.
Can't wait to see you.
Soon.
Thank you, my friend. Bye.
Okay, merci.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Alex Skolnick from Testament. And as you heard, so many projects. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to Matt's Guitar Shop TV, to check the next guests that are coming in. We're going to have some amazing artists and discovering like some amazing vintage guitar like this one, like Alex's collection. So feel free to subscribe to Matt's Guitar Shop TV on YouTube. You can find us on social media, on Instagram at Matt's Guitar Shop, and on Facebook at Matt's Guitar Shop. Thank you very much. And apparently Alex is going to do a session with us. So I'm super glad we did this episode. I know this guy for, you know, a few occasions over the years, and I'm glad to call you a friend of the shop. So thank you very much. And I wish everybody a good day out there. Bye.